right. So we're good to go. Here we go. Deck 3. Jeskai Control. So did you guys guess what cards we're putting in here? We'll just start with them. Settle. I would play 4 in the blue-white. I don't think we're going to end up putting 4 in the Jeskai. Probably just 3 or 2. And the other one, I don't know if we're going to play 4 of these. We probably should. I have been loving Ixalan's binding. This card is a bomb. And it requires a cool bit of strategy to play it like really, really well. There's a good amount of strategy you need. Really like this card. More and more every second. Come on, camera. You gonna do this to me? Alright, and then we'd have a bunch of the same characters. I guess this is a new deck text, so I should spell it out again. Let's do all that stuff first. Search. 4. For the same reason I said before. Having 2 on the battlefield is great. 1 flipped, 1 unflipped. Search also within itself allows you to discard the extras. Play 4, folks. Play frickin' 4. Do it. You won't regret it. Let me find that deck list here. This thing won't close. That's fine. We're not going to let that bother us. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. There's some jank to be had here, folks. Primal Amulet again. Especially in these white variants, I think Primal Amulet is good. God, look at how many 4-drops we have already. What a farce. I'm going to say 3. Maybe down to 2 in this deck. Thematic Compass. I'm probably down to 1 at this point, but I do like 1. And of course, Vance. I love Vance. It's a win condition. Lets you look at a lot of cards. Probably 2 of these too. Let's see. 2 Vances. 2 Primal Amulets. 1 Compass. And there we go. That's a hell of a lot of legendary lands, folks. 1, 2, 3, 4 different kinds. And they're all useful pretty much all game long. What's next? Should we go to the funnest part? Nah, let's save the fun part. Card draw. Not the funnest part, but 4 ups. Get in there. I feel like I just put another something in here. Best card draw we got. Chart of course. Meh. Gotta do what you gotta do. I really don't. I'm really not in love with Chart of Course, but it goes in there. What? Where's my opt? Are you telling me I'm playing no opt in this Jeskai control deck? Oh, there it is. 4 opt, 4 chart. Okay. And we're going to do 2 Pirates Prize. I don't think you can run 4 of these. It's no Glimmer of Genius. If it was Glimmer of the Genius, I'd say run 4. Even with all these other 4-drops, I'd say run it anyway. But it's certainly not Glimmer of Genius. But it's great to copy off of Primal Amulet. I'll tell you that. Primal Amulet is no Baral either. And that's it. We got Search for Ixalan, we got Opt, we got Chart the Course, we got Vance's Blasting Cannon. That's a lot of ways to find cards, folks. And that's why I like this Grixis control and Jeskai control. I like the blue-red interaction between Vance's Blasting Cannons and Search. Just the card draw engine you get online when you get both those online is ridiculous. All right. What's next? I guess I gotta do my best friend. Everyone knows I like this card a lot. Maybe too much, but I don't think so. 4 lightning strikes. Get in there. Super great against pirates. Fun to shoot at drovers and Otepec Huntsmasters. Death Gorge Scavengers, Rampaging Ferostodons. Any kind of merfolk you want to name. Good card. Instant speed. Play it. Play it. What other removal do we have here? One star. It's really hard for me not to include 1 star when I'm playing control. Because we're playing white and have access to Settle the Wreckage and Ixalan's Binding, it's not as important. Because those are great ways to deal with a whole bunch of things. But I still like star. And destroying a target land is no joke. Like if you can hit a Search or any of the things we're playing that's flipped, or a Legion's Landing, it's no joke. Normally they have enough colors that you can't really cut them off from a color with 1 star of extinction, but you can hit an unclaimed territory, which can sometimes do it. All right. Is it time for the fun? I think it's time for the fun. And it's the reason that we're running Primal Amulet. In fact, that Grixis control deck maybe shouldn't run any Primal Amulet. I'm not sure. But this is the fun card, and you're going to see a lot of it in the next deck tech. Bright Reprisal is okay. I think it's in the blue-white control deck I have. Works well with Primal Amulet, either flipped or unflipped. Because 5's a lot, but 4 is okay. And when you can copy it off a Primal Wellspring, then you're in business. If you can copy it off a Primal Wellspring, you kill 2 creatures and draw 2 cards. That's when freaking Bright Reprisal is paying off. Yeah, maybe. Maybe. I'll throw it up here. I think we're playing it in the blue-white version. It didn't make the cut in the Grixis version or the Jeskai version, because we get to play Lightning Strike and Star. I mean, this actually has a lot of removal, probably more removal than Grixis, which is somewhat unorthodox. I really like card draw, though. I'm a card draw junkie, so I do think Pirate's Prize is pretty questionable. But if you don't have the card draw, sometimes you're in trouble. Like, you need to find that Settle turn 4 lots of times. Or if you can't find it turn 4, turn 5. Like, if you don't have your Settle, then the next best thing you can do is probably dig for a Settle. Like, sometimes that's all you got. Turn 5 Carnage Tyrant. Bright Reprisal's not going to do it, but Settle might. So, yeah. And also for this setup that we're going to do, Bright Reprisal can actually deck yourself. So Sanguine Sacrament I like. Well, I wouldn't call Ixalan's Binding or Settle the Wreckage a do nothing. Primal Amulet, I would call a do nothing. Vance's Blasting Cannon is a win con. And it draws you a card every turn, not just one turn. But it doesn't remove anything. I mean, I'm open to a cardboard nomad. These decks have been tested, but certainly not thoroughly tested. And of all the decks that need testing, Control is probably the one that needs the most. But this card is Troll of the Hour, top troll card in the whole set at the moment. Sanguine Sacrament. You gain twice X life, and it goes back into your library. A lot like Ever After for you duels players. Which means, theoretically, you can never run out of cards. Theoretically. So that's why I like drawing cards, because I'm not worried about decking myself, because I have Sanguine Sacrament at the end to cast every turn. Like if you flip a Primal Amulet and you cast Sanguine Sacrament off of it late in the game, that's it, boys. That's your win con. You can gain 30 life a turn. They have to be able to deal more than 30 damage every turn, otherwise you're gaining life on them. This card is a win con, and it's the trolliest of all win cons, because the win con is actually them decking themselves with no mill help from you. You just sit around and gain life. You gain so much life that they can't deal with it. Like, I've definitely had 2 amulets flipped and like 14 lands. And so that's what, 1326 times 3, you get 52, 78 life every turn. Because it's the only card left in your deck, so you draw it every time. And it doesn't matter what they do. You just sit around and gain life, gain life. What you do have to worry out for is counter spells, and that's why Vance's Blasting Cannon is touchy. Because Vance's Blasting Cannon can force you to exile this card, and then you don't have that backup at the end. Plus, gaining life is decent. Gaining life is very good. Helps you get out from under some things. It's instant speed, which is really nice. Like, I found it off Search for Azcanta once. The guy had lethal on me, swung. I found it off Search for Azcanta, cast it for like 3 off an Ambulant. Gained 12 life, survived the turn, and started turning the game around. Instant speed is a huge, huge important part of this card actually being worthwhile playing in a control deck. And we got to have some counter spells. Let's see. Assume we're going to go 2 spell swindles here. Just 1. I don't really think 4 is never necessary from what I can tell, unless you're just playing some kind of weird treasure troll deck. 2 is okay in probably blue-white. I'll play 2. But I think in this deck we play 1. And then we have to play cancel. Which makes me feel terrible because I've been playing so much Pirates, and Lookout's Dispersal is just better in almost every occasion, but when you're not playing any Pirates, cancel's better. Let's see how many we're running of this. 3. 3 seems good. Like, I don't know. The counter spells aren't that good, you know? So why run a lot of them? I guess. Like, you know, these cards are plenty good in the sideboard. A 4th copy or a 3rd copy or whatever. But our counter spells are just not that good. But we have to run some. There's lots of reasons you want to cancel. It's a way to lock people out at the end. You know, if you're drawing cards, you can have any card in your hand you want. It's nice to have a few counter spells in there. How we doing? Do we make it? 37. Looks like we made it. Let me check this list one more time. All right. All right, so I did it. In this deck, I once again splashed for Trove of Temptation. I'll just put him in the sideboard. I'm playing it. I'm not sure I recommend it to you if it's not your cup of tea, but I'm playing the Trove of Temptation, Revel in Riches combo. Win con, whatever you want to call it. It works. It works. It's something to do. Trove of Temptation never really helps you. In this deck, actually, it helps you more than in Grixis because you are playing Settle the Wreckage. Or for the white-blue deck when you're playing Bright Reprisal, Trove actually helps you because it can get to them to attack. So the thing that can screw the Sanguine Sacrament play is a Rampaging Ferocitodon, because that won't let you gain life, and that's annoying. You got your lightning strikes, you got your cancels, you got your bindings, but it can still screw you. You're normally winning in this deck, I guess, with Vance's Blasting Cannon. Like, that's how most of these decks are winning. I mean, you can copy a bunch of lightning strikes and get there. That's about it, man. These decks are troll, man. Control. But I like, once again, I play the Revel in Riches and Trove. Some of that may have to do that I don't really play Settle the Wreckage. In this deck, because you're going 3 color, I would say maybe 2, maybe 3. And Ixalan's Binding is expensive. I love it, but 4 is pretty hard to run. How does that do? That puts us at 36. I don't know. All these decks are playing 24 lands. I know Control traditionally plays 25 or 26. But with all this card draw and search for his content, I don't really think it's that necessary. Though it sucks. If you get stuck on land, you're pretty much doomed. So let's put in land here. This deck did show up as one Field of Ruin. It hurts to play, but it does give you more resilience to other control decks. Mostly use it for a search. Not that many people play Vances. You could use it against treasure maps. Once again, it's sometimes good against an unclaimed territory. I don't use it much, but I feel like it's just a nice little thing to have in your back pocket. And let's start distribution. Whole lot of blue and a little red and a little white. So we'll go, but the casting costs for red, the only double red we have is star. So you don't really have to worry about that because by the time you get the star, you'll get the star. 4 Glacial Fortress. I do run one of this terrible card. Shoot, what's the name of that terrible land? Unknown Shores. This card is terrible. But I run one because I do like splashing for the Revel in Riches. And though we can get it off treasure, off the Pirate's Prize, and the Revel in Riches and the Trove, I like having one unknown to get there. Do we play the Highland Lakes? What do you think, guys? Highland Lakes? I got 2 in here. And it doesn't show up, of course. God, that Adano Vanguard always sneaks in. Ugh, what happened there? I think I put another Highland Lake. Sure. And Evolving Wilds. Oh, crap. I should have gotten that while I was off of it, too. Four. Easy 4 of. What else are we missing? White, red. I don't play any stone quarries. We don't have that much red. Just the lightning strikes and the advances and the troves. Lightning strikes are the only thing we need early red for. Just run some mountains and Evolving Wilds, and I think you're good. What do we have? 3 mountains, 6 islands, 3 plains. I'm sure this mana base could use tweaking. I'm not saying this is the mana base to use. You guys figure it out for yourselves. What works for you and what you think gets you on the curve you want to be at. And is that 24 lands? There we go. We made it. Jeskai control. This is it. Once again, as mentioned before, things like Run Aground could be good. Bright Reprisal could be good. I like that instant that lets you scry 2. What's that? Perilous Voyage. I'm skeptical of Perilous Voyage because it doesn't like slow him down a turn like Run Aground, and it doesn't kill it. But it does work on any non-land permanent. I'm not really sure there's any other card draw alternatives that I would consider. Once again, you could slam more counter spells if that's what you like. Though we don't really have any good, like Essence Scatter would be really good in this format. We don't really have access to that. Yeah, this is pretty decent. But once again, let's just talk about this before we go to blue-white, because we're going to play this card a lot. Ixalan's Binding. This card is strong, but it's also kind of tricky. So if you go up against someone who's playing white, you need to be very careful how you play this card out. Because ideally, when you're against an opponent who's also playing Ixalan's Binding, your goal is to Ixalan's Binding his Ixalan's Binding. And that locks him out from playing any more Ixalan's Binding the rest of the game. Which means he can no longer remove your Ixalan's Bindings or whatever else he had hoped to Ixalan's Binding, like all of our enchantments. So if you see that white hit the board and you got an Ixalan's Binding, be careful. Try to remove the creature any other way you can before playing an Ixalan's Binding until you get one of theirs in the trap. This card's super good against blue-black pirates. If you can trap a Kite Sail Freebooter, then they can't play Kite Sail Freebooter the rest of the game, and that card is pretty annoying. Pretty annoying. Though we have lots of ways to kill it with Lightning Strike and Bounce and stuff. It's better to try to get it under Ixalan's Binding than they can't ever cast an Ixalan's Binding again. I mean, a Kite Sail Freebooter again. Siren Storm Tamer, I would say, is even better target, but that's very hard to catch because they have to have no blue open, otherwise they can sack it. Sometimes people don't think to sack it, though. But that's a great card to catch because that card stops Settle the Wreckage. So when you're playing Pirates, you got to watch out for Siren Storm Tamer because that will ruin a lot of your removal. So you have to just wait for him to be tapped out of blue or something and try to catch it or kill it or get it out of the way. Fiery Cannonade doesn't work. I think Star of Extinction should be okay against Siren Storm Tamer. They would be able to protect the land destruction, but still everything would die. So it's okay. It's not like Languish or Yahini's. Those cards would be, well, those cards would be great against Siren Storm Tamer. But we don't have those cards, which is why Siren Storm Tamer is strong. And I think that's it. Jeskai Control. Finished. Last deck, folks. What time is it?